In other words, we will do what we have programmed ourselves to do. On the other hand, where our self-instructions are positive, we'll achieve a lot. We'll win far more often than we'll lose. We'll do that because we've programmed ourselves to achieve and to win in that area of our activities. Would you like to change your self-instructions in the areas where you're now losing? Fortunately, we don't have to wait for science to gain a complete understanding of these instructions before we can get started on changing them. If we're perfectly satisfied in every way with ourselves, our lives, and our achievements, we won't want to change our instructions. Few people who feel that way will open this book. Most of us want to see a great amount of improvement in our lives and our achievements, and we want to see that improvement fast. We're even willing to think about changing ourselves a bit if it'll help bring those improvements about, aren't we? The changes start with our goals. Nobody is without goals. The unfortunate alcoholic who slept on a park bench last night owns a goal: to acquire another jug of wine. The temporarily broke tycoon who has made and lost a dozen fortunes owns a goal: to acquire another fortune. They'll both reach their goals. Why? Because their self-instructions are not only allowing them to, they require them to. To get an understanding of how we can change our instructions to ourselves, let's look at how they keep us moving down the road we've chosen to travel. Again, by heeding those self-instructions. The method is so simple, and we all use it so constantly all our lives that we tend to forget about it. Our self-instructions control us because we keep repeating them over and over to ourselves and often to anyone else we get to listen. Hour after hour, that little voice in our head keeps telling us things. I better not try that. They'd probably just turn me down anyway. I've got to do this or I'm a goner. She wouldn't want to go out with me. What if I call him and he says no? I don't have a chance to win this one now. If I miss the next one, I've had it. I could list thousands of these tension-building and confidence-destroying instructions that many of us wash through our brains all day, every day. No wonder we're afraid to try new things. We always lose when we do, which is what we expected, which is why we did. It's a closed loop. Expected failure keeps on breeding more failure, which in turn breeds more expectations of failure. We can just as well tell ourselves to succeed. That is, we can just as well set ourselves up to keep on breeding the expectation of success, which will breed success, which will breed more expectations of success. That's a closed loop too, and it's what flipping our switch from lose to win is all about. We start by telling ourselves that we can do it. The basic concept is that simple, although the technique for doing it successfully is a bit more complicated. We'll get into that in a moment. If you'll follow the system thoroughly enough, that is, often enough and with enough emotional force, it really will flip your switch from lose to win. The fantastic part is that once you have yourself organized to do it, you'll spend less than 5 minutes a day on it. It won't work if you decide to make sure it won't work. Unfortunately, unless this system is helping you, it's hurting you. Why? Because there's no way you can shut that little voice inside your head off. As long as you're conscious, it'll keep on telling you to succeed or fail, to stay healthy or get sick, to take a carefully prepared for risk, or to let it all ride on a wild gamble. That voice is always there telling you to lose or win. So let's get on with winning more often. Here's how to make the good things start happening sooner. Make up a set of new self-instructions. However, this set will be vastly different from all the instructions you've been giving yourself throughout your life up till now. The difference is that these instructions will be carefully thought through. Then they'll be written out. Finally, and most importantly, they'll frequently be reviewed as a conscious act. In other words, they are different because they are completely under your control. This means that you can make them completely positive to what you want to do now. Write your new self-instructions on a 3x5-inch card, one to each card. Write things like, "Today I'll meet the right people in the right place at the right time for the betterment of all." People like me. It's amazing, but nearly everyone I meet really likes me right off. Of course, I like almost everyone I meet right away, too. I guess the way I feel about people shows.